Okay, so questions. First of all, I'd like you to introduce yourself.
Right.
Tell us the character you play.
My name is Genovevah Umeh. I play pretend for a living. I've just always done that since like high school, and kind of got some training because I just really enjoyed it, and then fell in love with watching Nigerians on screen, especially people of color on screen, and just thinking, oh, what's this about? Like, started looking into it, and then just started my journey. And I'm
Hello,
really grateful for
girls.
how far I've come. Hi,
Hi. I
How are
can
you?
see that.
hi, my babe.
This is
How are you?
Maggie.
How are you? How are you? How are you? Good
But-
evening, Auntie.
Hello. Hi. Oh,
Max.
look at them.
Wow.
Oh, look
Congratulations.
at them. Look at
What's
all of
getting with the
you.
car?
Oh.
Hi, baby
Hi.
girl. How are
Hi.
you?
Hi, guys. So, she was just introducing herself,
Yeah.
telling us the character she played in Baby Farm, and let's take it from there. So, Jennifer, you were telling them about the character you played.
Yeah.
Introducing
Hi
yourself.
guys,
Yeah. So
welcome
I
back to
play
Latest Gist
Emma,
by Abby.
and she
Rita
is
Dominic was
completely
live with the
institutionalized
cast
in
of
this
Baby
world,
Farm.
where
I
she
don't know if you
believes
guys
it's a
have watched Baby
home,
Farm. It's a beautiful
and
movie on Netflix.
yeah, she
So Rita
believes
Dominic
that
was live with the
the
cast of
family are
Baby
looking after
Farm,
her, and
which
she will do
involves
anything to
Onyiye
protect it.
Odokoro,
So
Genovevah
yeah, that's
Umeh,
Jenny
and
in Baby Farm.
Maggi
Okay.
Osokoro. And did I tell
Amy,
you
how
I
about you?
actually like
Our lead
Genoveva Umeh's
star
energy in
actress.
movies? She is a natural born
Good evening.
actress.
Thank you for
The
having
way
me on
she
here.
acts,
Hi,
most
hi,
of her
hi.
movies, I see her acting with
Thank
passion.
you.
And I love her
I
movies. I
play
love her accent.
Adana.
I love her
She's
vibe, her
very
energy. So it was a
courageous.
lovely
She's
life
very
with our legend,
curious.
Rita
I believe
Dominic.
that she's an
And they also
entrepreneur.
answer so
She
many
wants
pressing questions the
to
fans have been
not
asking,
just
and
pursue
also
herself, but she wants
encouraging
to
us
stand up
to
for other
go
people
watch
as
the movie.
well.
So if you have not watched Baby Farm on
Yes,
Netflix,
basically this
please
is who
do
she
go
is.
and
When
watch that
she
movie. It's
finds
a
herself
beautiful
in
movie that
an
was
unfortunate
made by
situation
these
where
lovely ladies.
um,
Anyway, guys, if you have
the
not
NGO
subscribed to
she
my channel, do
believes
well
was
to
providing food
subscribe,
to her,
like, comment, and
that there was
share. I love you
something
guys.
dark happening behind there. She resolved to find her way out,
Mhm.
no matter what. And even though a lot of people think she's selfish for her, the ways that she took, but I think that she's really courageous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. I think your character was the disruptor. She
Yes.
just came in and just disrupted everything.
Yes.
Maggie, tell us about your character. You surprised a lot of people.
Oh, really? That's
At the
nice.
end, yes,
That's
because they were not expecting what happened, you
mm-hmm.
know?
I need to
Yeah.
speak. Hello everyone. Once again, Auntie Rita, thank you for having me, Jen and Onyiye. My name is Maggie, and I played Onyiye in Baby Farm. As you probably already know. So Onyiye is just a young girl who found herself in the farm. And she took on a persona that wasn't hers, with a view to protecting herself. But then along the line, she found out that, even though she was acting like a mute, it wasn't enough to protect her from a sexual predator. So ever since then, she just kept plotting and watching until her catalyst, stepped in. Her catalyst,
Yes.
A for Adana, stepped in, and yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's so interesting. Well, for those of you who have watched, or those of you who haven't watched, I'm still going to say it. I play Cherise Oko in Baby Farm, she's a filmmaker. It's not so different from me in real life like that, but the difference is, in the sense that she would do anything to have her own offspring, regardless of whatever. So she finds herself in this space, not realizing that she's kind of got herself entangled in the ground world where all these dirty things are happening. Um, yeah. Well, at the end of the day, she realizes what's going on, and I think she just doesn't want to be a part of this. That's basically what my character is about. So that's it. So now I'm going to ask you all questions. What did you think, or how did you feel when you first got the role? When you first read the script, and when you first got the role? Anybody can start.
I start. I just remember reading an excerpt for the audition, like, you know, and just being really, really excited about this character because she had a lot of depth. She was described as a sweet soul that was damaged, a sweet damaged soul. And I was like, wow, this has so much depth, this has so much subtext. You could play her interesting, and a character that is, I guess, dealing with not having a mind of our own is really a challenge because we all have minds of our own, you know. So just doing the audition and then hoping that I got the role was like amazing. So finally getting the role, I was so excited. I was so
Yeah.
excited. I couldn't believe it.
Yes.
And you know, and I love that the themes was about women and girls, and I think that was what really was most exciting for me because I will be working alongside girls, and then it's really exciting to be working alongside actors that I've always wanted to
Yeah.
work with, you know. So
Yeah.
it was a safe
That's
space.
good. Oh yeah, how about you?
For me, yeah, for me it was that I hadn't seen anything like this before. I mean, a story that has this theme done on this side of the globe. I don't know that I've seen it before, and I'm like, oh, this is such an important story, such a relevant story. So I'm from Enugu, and yeah, oh, it looks like all of us are from the east. No,
Yeah.
I think maybe just
Except
Maggie.
for
I'm not
Maggie.
sure.
Maggie's
Is it for
Britain
Maggie?
East. Maggie's adopted East.
Yes, yes, take me
Yeah.
to the east.
Yeah, and it's more prevalent there. Even till now, I literally just came from the supermarket, and somebody was asking me, is this really happening?" I'm like, "Yes, it's really happening, especially in the East." And so when I got Baby Farm the script, I thought, "Wow, somebody's making a story about this," and I'm so grateful to Auntie Mo and everybody at Ebony Life and Netflix for deciding to make this story. So my first impression was, this is so timely, this is so needed. It's needed for now, and I feel so grateful. I always say it because it's true. I just feel grateful for being a part of this story. I really, the conversations that it has begun in the society right now, even the people were not even aware, but now they're aware. That is everything for me. So that was my first impression. That, oh my God, this is brilliant. I would love to be a part of this story.
Yeah. Maggie, how about you?
Uh, okay, so for me, when I got the call, because I think the call came in November or so, November 2023, right? Right? Yeah. So when I got the call, the very first thing I remembered was telling Genovevah at the auditions that I really wanted this. I remember I really wanted this, you know. So when I got the call, I was like, oh my goodness, it actually came, you know. And then I got to read the script. I read, you know, I found out about Onyiye,
Yeah.
and finding out that, you know, she was going to be mute. For me, I mean, it was a challenge I wanted to take on, but then it also had like an emotional aspect to it because I happen to know a good number of persons who are on the autism spectrum, you know, who are nonverbal, you know, who, yeah, basically. So it was very interesting for me to represent them in a way, even though it was a ruse, you know, to represent them
Yes.
in this, you know, because I feel like it was so important for people to see that, you know, your disabilities do not protect you from sexual predators, really. We just need to do more. The conversation is bigger,
Yeah.
you know, than that,
Yes.
Yeah.
sadly. So I was so grateful, you know, to read the script. And just as Jen and Onyi have said, the subject matter. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm very big on subject matters, you know, the films
Yes.
that I do and everything. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was great. It was great.
Yeah.
It was a great feeling.
You know what happened, right? This story has been, it's been happening, right? You know, art imitates life, so this is true. It's not just only happening in Nigeria. You know, when we're filming, I think was it one of the producers that told me that it's very common in an Asian country that is almost like next to, like, it's
South
just very
Korea.
common and not. What do you guys remember the country?
South
I think it
Korea. It
was
was South
Malaysia.
Korea.
Where?
It was
South
South
Korea.
Korea. I think it
South
was South
Korea,
Korea.
exactly. South
Yeah.
Korea, somewhere in Asia, exactly. How, so obviously, these things are happening. You've heard the stories, you've read about it, but something happened when we finished filming. 2 days after that, it's like once we finished filming, right? I started seeing more and more conversations about this, about like people's experiences, reading up and I'm wondering, okay, this such a coincidence? Like, what's going on? We just finished filming this, you
Yeah.
know. And for me, look, I know people want to, sometimes they want some sort of escapism in the sense that they want to shoot films or be involved in films where you're just laughing and having a good time and all that. But there are real life issues. It's important
Yeah.
to tell stories about real life issues. It's important to give voice to the voiceless. That is what art is about, you
Yes.
know. So obviously, when I read the script, it was a no-brainer that I'll be a part of this storytelling. I mean, you know. So I'm glad we did it. I'm glad with the end results, you know. So Onyi, is this your first time, like a first lead or?
No, no. The November before. Well, no. Actually, when was that? I led a Showmax original. It's called Princess on a Hill. Yes, I'd done that. I'd done other leads as well, but first Netflix lead. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, first Netflix lead. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Congratulations. How long have you been acting?
Since 2020 professionally. I moved to Lagos in 2020.
Wow. And you're already on
I
first
know.
lead on Netflix.
Just five.
2020.
God is
Look at
good.
you. God
I'm
is
so grateful.
good.
God is good.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Genoveva,
grateful for
how
it.
long have you been acting? Sorry, my darling, for cutting you. But how long have you been acting, Genoveva?
Um, so
In
professionally since 2018.
Nollywood. In
Yes,
Nollywood.
2018.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. I
Yeah.
saw you for the first time in Blood Sisters.
Oh yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, that's
Yes, that's
2022.
the one. Yeah. Okay. You, Maggie, how about
Actually,
you?
same as Jen. April
Oh,
26th will make it 7 years. Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
We were
Wow.
working
I
closely. Maggie and I were working
remember the
closely that
day.
year.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Okay. So, Onyi, your character, you face some intense moral, you know, dilemmas and baby fun. What was the hardest scene for you to film emotionally and why?
Jen and I, we were paused. Yes, I think they asked me the same question. It would be the scene where the makers and the helpers, they were being punished for Adana's
Yeah.
action.
Yeah.
She trying to escape. That scene
Yeah.
was so hard for me to film. And normally I am usually in control of
Of your
stopping
emotions.
myself, of my emotions, but then I just couldn't. I
Yeah.
remember that immediately. I think it was Jen Ebun was being flogged, and
Yeah.
immediately I heard cut. I could not breathe. I could not stop crying. It was like a panic attack or something was happening. It was so hard for me to film. And I said to myself, it's because this is film. Oh. If not that it's film, that person flogging to the hour, is that how you kill me or I
You'll
kill
fight
you?
the
Because what
person.
I couldn't just
Yeah.
stand this. And
Yeah.
so, but I remember that all the girls, they gathered around me and they just held me up. Also, shout out to all the girls of the farm. They held all of us, we held each other up. It was so wholesome part of that. But that
Yeah.
scene was difficult. It was the most difficult for me. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't know where you guys camped.
No,
No, no. We
but
came
it
from
felt like
home.
we were
It
because
felt
Yeah,
like
because
we were.
we were.
yes,
Yeah.
because you know, I feel like sometimes when you isolate actors and put them in the same space, it translates nicely on screen.
Yes.
You
Right.
know, in terms of
I do
chemistry.
agree.
And
Yes.
I saw that while I was watching. So I started asking myself, were they camped or
No.
you know?
Well,
Yeah.
we were being picked up. We were being driven in the same car, so they would pick me
Okay.
and then pick Jen.
And you
So we
spent
were riding to set
the whole
together.
day
We were going
together
home
anyway.
together. Yes,
Yeah.
we were spending the whole day
Okay.
together. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
You know, that
regardless
scene.
of like not
Mhm.
meeting the girls that that we were not being camped or getting on the same ride with the rest of the girls. I think when we got to
Yeah.
set, there was always this conversation, always this playfulness
Yeah.
that we all had, and I think generally we understood that it was such a great opportunity and such a privilege to be telling this story. So it was just so
Yes.
easy
Yes.
to to just really
Yeah.
I
Yes.
guess bond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay. You know all that scene you're talking about here. When I read it, it was so disturbing, you know,
Yeah.
because it reminded me of something. You know, it was so disturbing. But you see, reading it and watching it are two different things. Now watching it, I felt, I don't know, You know, I don't know how I can't even explain.
I feel like I'm even welling up thinking about it because each time I watch it, it's so hard for me to hear Eben's, I guess, cry or emotions. And I genuinely did feel like I let go filming that scene, and it was quite a tough scene to film because that's a genuine experience that women do go through. And I pray that none of us or any woman that that we know experience it, and my heart goes out to those that have.
Yeah. Maggie, is she there? Maggie, can you hear me? Is it my
Yes.
own internet? Yes.
Yeah, I
No,
So
can
it's
hear
my
you.
Sorry, it's my network. I
yeah.
don't. Inye was having what you call like a tantrum or a meltdown. Okay,
Yes.
and usually when people who are non-verbal or have some sort of are differently abled have meltdowns, people watching them don't know how to react. Some
Right.
laugh, some find it funny. And yeah, so watching those expressions, it just put me in the shoes of people on the spectrum, and it just got me really emotional, because we need more support. We need people who would provide more support for non-verbal children and non-verbal adults. So in a way, it made me feel bad, It made me feel bad. But yeah, that was it.
Yeah. I think every woman in this in Baby Farm, they're all victims of the doctor because even Sister Barbara herself,
Yes,
she's a
Yeah.
definitely.
victim.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
Do you guys want to talk about that? What do you think about her character?
I saw something on Twitter. They said, when your captor has a captor. That was just
Yes.
Sister
Oh,
Bab's
just
story.
yes.
That's
Different perspective. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
that's
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just it. It was such a very unhealthy relationship.
Oh yeah.
Right.
very toxic.
Unhealthy.
Extremely toxic. I
Yeah.
rebuke it for any of my sisters.
Amen.
Yeah.
I rebuke it for Jen. I rebuke it for Onyiye. It
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
extremely
So
toxic.
she was just being abused, and
Yeah.
she just found herself in too deep and couldn't really do
Yeah.
anything and had to
The
just
And so it
irony.
live
was
with it.
very fitting. It was very fitting that she was the one to deliver the punishment, to punish
Yes,
Dr. Evans. It
absolutely.
was extremely fitting.
But
Yeah.
how we sure
Yes.
She had
how
to
we
do
sure
it.
he's dead? How we sure he's dead?
We don't know if he's dead or not.
Exactly. How we
That's a
sure?
good one.
Because that fire.
Yeah.
I
We're not
That
think
sure.
I
fire
think
Anything
is
can
just
happen.
anything,
I
I
anything.
don't even think he's dead.
I think that Sister Bab, I find her interesting because her experience is that of someone that is, yes, she is being abused, but she is seeking comfort with this her
Yeah.
husband. She's seeking the comfort of the home, of the enjoyment that they have, the horse rides, the walks, the galas, just being an important person. I think that was definitely very important to her, and
Yeah.
that's why she stayed. And I think that the fact that she was being abused or inflicted with her relationship with Dr.
Yeah.
Evans, she also would then she would then inflict that harm or that control on Eben.
So
So I
would you
think,
say yeah? So do you think that Stockholm syndrome played a
Yes,
part here?
oh,
definitely.
absolutely, I
Yeah.
agree. Yeah, Eben was far deep inside
Yeah.
it, but she didn't even know. That was just her reality, and that was it.
Yes. Yes. And I think that she didn't even want the other girls coming to disrupt. Because to her, this is all she knows, this is all her comfort.
Oh,
She doesn't even want to
absolutely.
address, the whatever what you call it, the what in the room. What's that thing?
Nothing.
What's it called?
The
She's
elephant in the
in the
room.
The
She didn't
elephant.
want to
elephant
address
in
it.
the room.
Yeah, the animal. Yes. Yes.
Absolutely ignoring
Yeah.
all the elephants. Like,
Yes.
Yes.
they say
Yes.
don't go here,
Exactly.
she doesn't go there. She doesn't
Yes.
ask
Yes.
questions why. That's it.
She doesn't even want any of the girls to do that. She
She
wants the
doesn't.
girls just to be like her.
Yes,
To do the
absolutely.
same thing she's
Because
doing, to be in the
hello,
dance.
we're eating good, we're drinking
Yes.
good,
Why are you
we have a
complaining?
bed, we're not
Exactly.
complaining.
Yeah.
It is a
What more do you
But
mind.
want?
I think this
Micro
also
government.
reflects like it reflects something about Nigerian society as well. I don't
Mm.
want to go political, but then what Genoveva
Yes.
just said,
Mm.
there are people who are comfortable with all the things that are going on, because it's their business.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
don't want.
Because
Don't let me
they're
go
rich.
political.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh no, I said it.
Yes.
True.
I said it on TV. I said it that for me, simply put, Baby Farm is a microcosm of Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a representation
That's
of Nigeria at large,
yes.
where you have people who are the few voices of reason, people like Adana,
Mm-hmm.
but instead of, because somebody was saying to me, my auntie who watched it, she said to me that if all the girls in Baby Farm had come together in
Mm-hmm.
unison, that the what's his name, Dr. Babs would have nothing. He wouldn't be able to fight to come between them. But it's because
Absolutely.
they were
Absolutely.
divided
Yes.
for whatever
Yeah.
reason,
That's
and that's
life.
what's
Though.
happening in
That's
Nigeria. That's what's
reality.
happening. And
Yeah.
there's
It's not even
so-called
just it's
kingdom.
not so you know something, yes, I understand is what's happening in Nigeria, but it's not even just Nigeria. It's human nature. There will always
Yes.
be division.
Mm.
That's
Yeah.
just the truth. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
go on to the next
We
question.
don't like division.
Uh,
Boo.
Yeah.
yeah.
No division.
So do you guys want to tell us how you prepared for your role?
Uh,
What did you do?
mm,
My
well, for me,
goodness, Auntie Rita, I was praying. Auntie Rita, let me not lie to you. I was actually praying because I remember when we went for the first table read, I was just like, Jen, what is this character? What are we going to do here?
mhm.
For each conversations we had with the director, with the actors, I was making notes, like notes on end, because I needed to make sure that I go home and have a look.
Yeah.
Because I was reading, like, obviously we had the conversations where we were hearing other characters talk about
Mhm.
their own I guess their arc.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, oh my god, like I don't know what this character, like what do you mean she doesn't know what she's doing, like because I mean you do the audition and then you're like you forget all about it and you're like, oh, by God's grace, and then oh, you finally get the role and you're like, okay, so literally I remember Onyiye telling me on set, I think it was the first day, and I did the first take, we did the second take, the way you have like multiple takes, and then she
Yeah.
was like, so interesting how you like play it different ways. And I was like, that's because I was like literally trying to find her in that scene.
Mm.
Yes.
So yeah.
That's so good. That is so good. That is so good. By the way, I keep saying this thing about Genoveva. I was, Jen was acting. I was taking notes. I'm like,
Taking notes.
interesting choice. All right,
No,
I'm
my
going to
please.
use
No,
this
no,
when I.
Adana didn't say a word. Like she would come in the car, she'd just sleep like that, she'd lie down. Like don't speak to Adana. Like she's already in character from the time we entered the car. So
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
yeah.
god!
Yeah.
But in terms of preparation for me, it was. So I want to say that first of all, roles like Adana's, and
Mm-hmm.
I now I own it because it's what it is. People
Mm,
ask me, "Oh my God, that must have been so difficult for you to do," but no, it wasn't really. I think that this is my strength. I thrive more with very deep emotional stuff. I can connect sort of easily. I think that this is the advantage that God has given me with the gifts that He gave me. So with stuff like this, I can connect. I can tap in and tap out. That's why it was so surprising to me, just having no control on the day we shot that scene. But
mm,
having said that, it was just asking a lot of
Yeah.
whys. Adana was very straightforward to me. It was her character was so built that I did not need to, go what's her background story. Everything was there for me to work with.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I think the work that I did was more physical than any other thing, because when I auditioned, I got to know that, oh, this is how old she is. This is the circumstance of the story, meaning that she came to Lagos and she was living on the street for months while being pregnant with twins. So that
yeah.
must have
Yeah.
taken a toll on her, and she wasn't feeding well.
Yeah.
So I just took it upon myself. And I think also the producer said, Onyiye, would like you to lose a little bit of weight. I'm like, sure. How much weight do you want me to lose? And so between December and January, I lost close to 10 pounds for it. I was very skinny for for
Yes. I think I
for
saw.
that.
I
Yes,
read that. I had that somewhere. Yeah. That you
yes,
lost a lot
yes.
of
So that
weight.
was it. Just
You
yes, just so that
did
I could gain
amazing. You were
weight.
so slim. You were so slim. When Adana was on the streets, I was like, look at her neck.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing.
Thank you.
But it just shows the amount of work that people. Sometimes people watch this thing, the films, the arts that we create and put out there, and it's so interesting and it looks so easy and simple, like we're just having fun. Acting, let me say it again to my people watching, is one of the toughest jobs on this earth. It's
Yes.
unbelievable how tough it is,
Yes.
from pre-production to principal photography, cinematography, or whatever, and then to post-production, and then for the actors to even get ready to, immerse themselves in these roles. You can look, for you to be a successful actor, you must know Buku.
Yes.
You have to be some sort of
Yes. Actors
intelligence.
are intelligent.
Yes, you have to be
Yes.
Extremely
intelligent.
intelligent.
Mm. Yeah. Maggie,
I
tell
also
us.
think
Okay.
okay, go ahead.
You
Go
Oh,
ahead,
can.
Jen, you
Maggie.
can go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to add, I read this thing where Idris Elba says that, actors don't really know that they are, hurting themselves. Like, we are just feeling the emotions and being in the emotions. We don't know that we're hurting ourselves. We're essentially hurting ourselves each time
Yeah.
we're putting ourselves in someone else's shoes.
That is so
Yes.
perfect.
We're playing characters that that peeks into another person's lives, that show what people are going through. And that's who does that?
Yeah.
Everybody else walks around living their lives, they're themselves 100% 24/7. And
Yes.
Yeah.
you as an actor, you're meant
Yes.
to be a blank canvas. You're also meant to be a
Yes.
superstar. You're also meant to be
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
pretty and be yourself.
Yes.
There's a lot that goes into being an
There's a
actor, and a
lot.
successful one as well. So
Yes. Yes. Because you think about it, because you're seeing life through the eyes of these characters. You're experiencing life.
absolutely.
And just imagine how many films you've done, how many characters you've portrayed.
My goodness.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That is
That's a
just
lot.
before
I was
Maggie
telling
speaks.
Onyiye
If
the
I
other
if I
day,
may.
we were
Yeah.
on a radio show or so, and I mentioned having pieces of characters that I've played in the past, like still having those pieces,
Yeah.
it just really speaks to what Jen said. We're taking on other people's lives, their emotions, their stories. Those things don't necessarily leave you per se completely. At least
Yeah.
for me, it doesn't.
Yes.
Not
Yeah.
completely.
Maggie, is
So
that why you
that's
would like choose your characters, like
exactly.
specifically, because you're very
Yeah.
intentional about the characters
Yeah.
that you play?
Yes. Yes.
Exactly. It's one of the reasons why acting for me is serious work. It's a lot of,
It's
yeah.
very
But anyway,
spiritual.
I want to read out a comment and I want you guys to respond to the person. Yeah.
okay.
Tonya Sean dot Ike or Ike or something. She goes, who said acting is the toughest thing? Have you tried medical or other fields? Madam, I disagree with you, okay? I'm
I
gonna
mean,
leave
it's not a
somebody else to
competition.
respond.
It's not
It's
really.
not a
It's
Let's
not.
start
competition.
there.
Yeah.
And I
Let's
actually
start
said
there.
one
And
of the
Rita didn't
toughest. I
say
did
it
not
was the
say
toughest. She
yeah.
said it was one of the
Yes.
toughest. Exactly.
One
One
of
of
the
the toughest.
toughest.
It's not a competition,
Yeah.
We're all
But you
working.
know, but you
Every job requires sacrifice. It requires something from you, whether emotional
Absolutely.
rigor, physical rigor, it requires something. But
Yeah.
for acting, it requires a lot of emotional rigor and sometimes physical rigor. And
Yeah.
I think
yeah.
there's no. I mean, when you hurt yourself on the outside, I mean, it hurts. But then the hurt on the inside, that stays for a very long time.
Takes a
So
long
Yes.
yeah.
time to heal.
Yes, yes. I was telling somebody that it's so contrasting how in my personal life, let's say, because I'm Christian and I know that I'm not supposed to be afraid. So if my temperament is the temperament that's just, prone to fear and I'm working with the Holy Spirit, please help me not to be afraid. But then I get a character who is afraid. And so I have to let fear sit in my soul
Yes.
for
Yeah.
weeks. I have to believe that I am
Yes.
afraid in order to play this character. And
Yes.
so my mind doesn't know that I'm acting. My
Yes.
mind is thinking, oh, she's afraid, she's afraid. So
Yes.
it's
You
reacting
see?
like, but in real life, I'm trying to not be afraid. But then I open myself up to
Yeah.
fear. It's yo,
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And
it's
do
And
you
It's
then
know
when
not
what,
easy.
Rita?
you're done,
Yes.
that doesn't leave you for a while. You're still
Because
trying
you
yes,
have to
to
stay, yeah,
get your
it
mind
takes a
yes,
to drop
while.
that fear.
And then the thing
yes,
is, even when you're done filming for the day, you can't let go completely because you're still going back to set to do the same thing,
Tomorrow.
yes,
and you stay in that
You're
space for 1 month, it's Let me.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a
You're
lot that
about to say something,
we're doing.
Maggie. Yeah, you
Oh
were
no,
about.
I
You were
was just
going
going
to
to
tell us
respond
your
to the earlier
process.
question about
Yes.
preparation, but yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So for me,
Oh,
it was, I mean,
Kiki.
aside from doing the character breakdown, asking all the questions that we would normally ask, for me I think the bulk of my work was in physical tics, let me put it that way, to properly
Yeah.
represent those movements and looks that
Yes.
non-verbal individuals tend to have. So for me it was
Yeah.
just watching a lot of videos of
Yes.
meltdown,
Yeah.
watching other films, people who have done things like this, and just
Yes.
practicing over and over again, so that
Yeah.
I presented it properly. That was it for me.
And
So
you
you
were
Auntie
know,
Ree, Kiki's
it's
brilliant.
here.
interesting you're saying
Kiki
that. Sorry, my
Omele's
darling.
is in our chat.
Oh, Auntie Mel, is she here?
Oh,
Oh, I can't even.
Kiki,
Hello, Auntie
Kiki,
Mel.
Kiki
Hi.
Omele.
Kiki, she. Oh, hold on.
She's here. She just
Where?
said both acting and medicine are very tough to do. I would
Oh,
know because I've done
yeah,
both.
okay,
It's
because you
because
don't.
it's not
Oh,
a
yeah,
cup of
oh,
tea.
Maggie, I
Yes,
missed that.
exactly.
Oh,
yes.
And
hello.
she said,
Exactly.
"Hey, baby farm crew."
Hi,
Hi,
Hey.
Kiki.
Hi,
Kiki.
Kiki. Hi, darling. So you know your character, Maggie, right? I found her quite interesting in the sense that, one of the toughest forms of acting is conveying what you're trying to say without speaking. That's very tough to do. And then you were silent all through until the end. But we could still feel that in as much as she had, she had this medical issue that she was, whatever, I don't want to mention the name, but we could tell that she was still present. She knew what was going on in that space and it wasn't good for her. So that was very difficult to do. Very difficult. And I was watching out for that. And well done. Well done.
Yeah,
Thank you,
well
Auntie
Very well
done,
Rita.
done.
Maggie.
Yeah.
Thank
Well
Yeah.
you.
done, well
Oh,
done.
stop
I
it! I
remember
like
that scene that you were talking
singing.
about.
Yeah. Yeah.
The meltdown scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know what you were going to do,
Yeah.
because they were searching my character, and I
Mm.
think they were doing your close up. I think it was the wide first,
Yeah.
because, and again, Maggie had to do that again and again for the
Couple
wide shot, the
times.
close up, the medium,
Yeah.
multiple times. But I remember the
Yes.
first time, I think I must have gone out of character myself, because I'm like, what's going on? It was so
Yeah.
powerful. It was so
Yes.
powerful. Maggie, shout out to you.
Yes.
Well done.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
powerful.
Well done. Well done to all of you, actually. All of you. You
Thank you
all, I
so
mean, I
much.
think everybody did, everybody did
Yes,
amazing.
yes,
So let's
yes.
progress. I already asked you about chemistry with your co-actors. Okay. So what's one thing you wish audiences understood about your characters, all the characters you played, that may not have been obvious on screen?
I didn't get it.
Hmm.
You didn't get the question,
So
Maggie?
can you repeat the
Okay,
question?
so I'm saying, okay, so the question is, what's one thing you wish audiences understood about the characters you played that may not have, been obvious on screen?
Okay.
I think for me, it's Adana's empathy. A lot of people seem to think that Adana is just selfish. And because of that, they don't see her empathy. They don't see her willingness to sacrifice herself. And because, for example, with Ebum, the scene where they both were trying to escape, and she said to her, "You go. It doesn't matter anything they do to me. But you cannot be here." That's not a selfish person.
That's
From the
love.
beginning, she
Love.
wanted, that's love. That's love. She immediately she came in there, she knew, no, this place, something is wrong here. And she was trying to recruit people who wants to leave. Even her accepting it to know, okay, let's go together. She wanted to not just rescue herself. That's actually the truth. She wasn't interested in
Yes.
rescuing other people, but it just felt like, okay, you guys are not willing to go. And she's like, okay, I'll do what I have to do for myself and my babies. But a lot of people seem to think that she's just completely selfish, and so I don't think that a lot of people saw her
Yeah.
compassion, her empathy, and her love for other people.
Yeah. How about you,
Right.
Maggie?
Um, Honestly speaking, nothing is coming to mind right now. I think everything that Onyiye needed to,
Yeah.
I think everything the audience needed to know about Onyiye, they got
Yeah.
to know, except her backstory. How she got into
Yes.
the farm in the
Mm.
first
Yes.
place.
Yes.
I think that's the
Yeah.
only thing right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Jen?
I found it interesting that people started watching and they thought, oh wow, this girl is so annoying. What's her problem? Blah 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 blah. You know, and of course, like we get to experience that. Oh, she experienced sexual abuse. You know that these two people found her, and this is a life she has known all her life since she was a young girl. So I think mine would be, oh, she was annoying. She was annoying because she just wanted to experience love, and this was her experience of love, and she wanted to safeguard it as best she could.
Yeah.
I
For
think
my
for me,
character,
sorry, if I can just add to what everyone said. I know we go around judging people, we judge people a lot. We all do it, but then we don't know. There's someone said we judge others by their actions and we judge ourselves by our intentions. So we go around
Right.
judging people, not knowing what their story is and why they act the way they act, But I feel like eventually people got to understand why everyone, was
Oh
acting
yeah,
that way. So I
absolutely.
think for us, it's just another lesson. Don't
yeah,
don't just judge. Don't judge
Yeah,
prematurely based on what you were saying the first couple of
We
times.
judge off our own perception, like our
yeah,
own understanding of life,
Like,
so it's like if it doesn't fit into with ours, it's like, why are you doing that?
yeah, yeah.
I think my character, I think mine, I don't know if the audience noticed, but she knew the power she had over her husband. Because I mean, I think she makes all the money. I mean, she actually owns everything. Because you remember in the swimming pool when she told him, "I'm going to do this with or without you," and all that. What happened,
I just
Jen?
switched on the
What?
light.
Yeah,
Let there
where
be light.
you
I
know,
said okay.
yeah, yeah. So where she tells him, I think it got to a point where she just starts to sort of threaten him subtly. You know, did you guys get that?
Yeah,
Where she's more or less telling him, "No, I will do this with you, with or without."
without you.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if people actually got that, but yeah, that's my own. That's what I think that people missed in terms of my character. So did you guys have funny or unexpected moments on set that helped lighten the mood during heavy scenes?
It was shout out to May AD. May did not let us have a lot of BTS, but the few times that we were able to do some BTS, that was fun. That was fun. It was it
Yeah.
was lighthearted. Even in between scenes, we were bonding. All the girls, maybe we'll break
Yeah.
out singing or just
Yes.
doing. We were baby bumping and stuff. It
Yeah.
was it was fun. There
Yeah.
was a lot of light moments, even
Yeah.
in the midst of the
I mean,
heavy
we
heavy
did a
scenes.
whole 007, me, you, and
I
Ivy.
need to
We
know.
played
Yeah, Ivy.
Itunu, and we did. I mean, we got to do karaoke. The girls got to sing like Rihanna together. And I have clips of these, because
Have you posted
it's
them? You
just
should
lovely
share
to.
them. You should share some of
I
them,
will. I'll
to
share them in a
listeners.
dump. I plan on
Yes.
Yeah,
sharing them in a dump
Yeah.
like this weekend as a
Yeah.
gratitude, because honestly, it was such a fun
Yeah.
experience. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on. If you could give your character one piece of advice, what would it be? Let's start with you, Jen.
Um, that she's strong. I would advise her that, like, girl, you are strong. You are all you need. You don't need anybody to make you whole. And to see you and to I would advise that she's strong and that she's enough.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah. How about you?
uh, I'd say Adana, wait, just wait. I know that the feelings are strong and the attraction is strong, but just wait
Bit,
before having
Abby, calm
intercourse
down
with
a
your
little bit.
boyfriend. Because calm down.
Oh
Because the
boy.
boy is actually the villain. He is actually the villain. He is the origin of this story.
The
And where he's
origin.
nowhere to be found. So yeah, just calm down. Let the hormones relax. Calm down with that part. Yeah, that's what I would tell her.
Vanessa.
Yeah. How about you, Maggie?
So before her death, I would have advised her to be patient, because I was speaking with someone yesterday and I'd never thought about it this way. We're always saying, oh, Adana was impatient or Adana messed up the plan. If both Onyiye and Adana had been patient, they would still have escaped because Joy and Ify and Ebun were doing their own thing on the outside,
Yeah.
So one way or
Yes.
another, they would still have escaped,
Interesting.
So patience. But then I
Yes.
would also like to tell her after, just as a word of encouragement, that she didn't fail. Even though she didn't make it, didn't fail. One way or another contributed to the other girls, getting freed and everything. So she didn't fail.
Yes.
You're not a failure in a year.
I
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
that.
I
I
was
love
quite I was
that.
I was I was quite sad when your character died. You know.
Yeah.
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 That was a very interesting scene to shoot. Sorry, I know you're talking about the emotions, but
Yeah.
I was on the floor for almost like over an hour, Auntie Rita,
Yeah.
on the
Wow.
floor in that position, trying to get all
Yeah.
sorts of
Oh my
all
God.
sorts of shots and
Wow.
everything.
Yes. Yes. Of
Yeah,
course.
my neck
You guys,
hurts after
can
that.
you guys hear that? It's not easy. She was in that position for like over an hour,
Over
over an
an
hour,
hour.
so that they could get different shots of just that little, just a few seconds, or like just a few seconds of that shot that you saw in the film. She was on that floor for over an hour. It's not easy. And Mill is so he's
Yeah.
saying spoilers, but I warn them, or I warn them about
Watch you.
spoilers. If you watched
Watch
it,
you.
yeah, watch it
Go watch
too.
it too.
There's still a lot, not revealed. I mean, there's so much that happens in the film, in the series. So, what else? What else? If you could rewrite one scene for your characters, which one would you rewrite and why? I'll start with Maggie.
Obviously, for me, maybe she could have just been faster, or maybe that controller could have had a little accident or something, and she could have just
Yeah.
gone through the doors without getting shot. That's just it for
Yes.
me. Just maybe just in a nanosecond faster. It should have just been
Yes.
faster. She
Yeah.
would have escaped. So yes,
I
I would have
agree.
rewritten that. She would
Yeah.
have burst free.
Yeah. All right. Anybody between Jenny and Onyiye can answer?
I think it would be this. I think there's a couple. Just something that that would have caused a year not to have died. Sorry for the spoiler for people who haven't seen it. But that scene, but also the scene at the hotel, where Ebun jumps in. No, I would have rewritten that if I could, just
Yeah.
to see her trying to jump and just tell her to not. Do
Yes.
not on your life do that
Yeah.
so that she doesn't get hurt. Yes.
But the thing
Yes.
is, I
Yeah.
don't even think. Do you guys think Devil is dead? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so. But it was so
Because
But
her face was
anyway,
sweet
covered.
how Adana placed her
yes,
babies beside him at that
Yeah.
moment.
yeah,
It was so
Yeah,
yes.
sweet.
I love
That
that.
was
Gave her
Yeah.
strength. Gave her strength.
yes,
A
yes.
shout out to
That was
Director
something.
K. It was
Yeah.
Director
Yeah.
K. Director K said he
Oh,
placed
oh,
them beside her.
Kayode.
Yes. Director
Oh,
Kayode.
oh,
Yes.
well done.
Yes.
Yeah, well
Yes.
done.
Shout out
Well
to
done to Kayode, and well done to
Director Walter.
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 Director Walter.
Yes, yes.
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah, the same thing for me. Like the Eben scene.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
would be like, girl, step back.
yeah. I think. Do you guys think my character should have been caught?
Hmm. No, because
I
I don't
no.
actually,
Learned
because
her lesson.
Because I
she
think she
had to
was
demonstrate she
innocent.
did
She
the
didn't
right
She
thing
know.
in the
learned
end.
her
Yeah,
lesson. Yes.
yeah, she did the right thing in the end.
She did the right
Somebody's
thing.
greeting you people. Oh, say hi, makers. Please
Hi,
answer the question.
makers.
Hi.
Oh my God. It's okay. So let's progress. Have you? Okay, you answered the question. Yes. So what else? What's the biggest lesson you're taking away from being part of this series?
Hmm. Praise the Lord. And me again, the reason why I wanted to do this. And I had, when I wanted to sing before that, I said, God, this is the kind of stories I want to tell. This is the kind of movies I want to be a part of. And so doing a story like Baby Farm, for me, is a dream come true. I said, Thank you, God. It just reminded me that this is my why. It's just like you said, Auntie Rita, being a voice to the voiceless. We're not all on the pulpit. The pastors have their jobs. This is our own ministry, or this is the thing that we have to do. And for me, it just reminded me how much I'm just walking in a prayer that I used to pray before, and that was it for me. And also, I think in terms of the story, it's it's also for me. I'm like, Onyiye, you just have to be a better human being, because Baby Farm would not have existed without the cleaners, the security guys, the doctors, the nurses who are complicit. And for me, after Baby Farm, I sat myself down, like, is there something I know that's happening that I'm deliberately turning a blind eye to, that I'm not reporting something, that is there something how I could be a better citizen that I'm not? Am I passing someone on the street and I'm not even looking at them as they're lying there almost naked on the road? Should I have done something and stuff like that? So I think for me, these are the two things.
All right. You, Jen?
I think just piggybacking off of Onye's comment about like um I guess being compassionate to your environment, where we are privileged to get to tell stories, and then privileged to live as somewhat comfortable lives by doing that, by
Yeah.
telling stories of people that are genuinely living these lives. So to be somewhat compassionate and to share that wealth, wherever you can, through charity work, but also that I also learned that there's a lot of talent in Nigeria. There's a lot of talent, and we're grateful for Ebony Life for honing that talent and for giving us material to actually share that, because there's a lot of criticism with the work that we do, especially in Nigeria, especially in Africa. So to be a part of a show that is, I mean, correctly celebrated, is just so wholesome. I'm so grateful, and I pray that we get to do more, and that transcends the boundaries of this country, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maggie?
I do I have any other thing to add? I think Onyiye and Jen have pretty much covered everything. But then finally, I'll just say, for me, it's just taught me, to be more compassionate. I think we already mentioned this on the call earlier on. To extend grace, and to avoid judging people prematurely before we can get to hear their story. Yeah, that's it for me. Yeah.
I know I said it before, but I'll say it again. For me, it's important that we tell these stories. It's important to tell stories like this about things that are happening around us. It's important for people who have been or who have experienced things to watch these films and draw strength from what it is we're putting out there as art.
Yeah.
It's important to bring to fore what is going on around us, you know? Um, yes, I know many times you just want to watch comedy. I've said it before, but I'll say it again for benefit of those who just joined this live. I know many times you want to tell stories about like stories that will make us laugh, comedy and things like that. I understand some sort of escapism, I get it. But it's also important to tell this sort of stories that
Yeah.
really highlight the problems, things that are happening in our society. Television is a very strong tool. You can use television media to project the country or the society you want. So it's good to have a balance. Tell stories that make people laugh, tell stories that are real stories. All right? And then the final question, which cast member made you laugh the most on set, and what's your funniest memory together?
Oh man, made me laugh the most on set.
Yeah.
Yo, that I don't know if anybody was making me laugh.
Okay.
It,
So
it
okay,
was
so who was the
mine was
funniest? Okay, so okay, out of all the makers, right? Who was the funniest?
Right.
Yeah.
huh,
Or who was the
probably
goofiest?
Goofy, maybe Ivy.
Okay, Ivy was
Ivy.
quite goofy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Probably Ivy
Ivy
that
Man.
played it.
Ivy
Okay.
Man.
Yeah,
It's very goofy. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
Ivy.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And the person that made me laugh the most and said was Jenny, Sister Barbara, actually.
Oh,
It's
Yes,
funny.
interesting.
Oh, and
Yeah.
yes,
she's such
she
a
is.
sweetheart. She's so
Yes,
lovely. Yeah.
she's so
Very
lovely. She's
lovely.
so cool.
Yes.
She's the
And she's
coolest.
hilarious.
She was because
Yeah.
we had a lot of scenes together as
Mm-hmm.
well. So I remember
Mm.
a very fun
Yes.
memory was she came to Adana's baby boy and she said, "This is one watermelon. This is another watermelon," and I was so
Yeah.
stressed. I was
Yeah.
just standing waiting for okay, let's shoot, and she just came and she just one watermelon, and I remember it was such a stress relief
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, she
Oh,
made me laugh a lot. We had awesome
Yeah.
conversations because I had
Yeah.
scenes with her.
that's a
You know the
moment.
doctor, right? If you guys remember, during the read through, you know,
Yes.
he just, you know, he was just normal, right?
Mm-hmm.
The first day of shoot, my first scene with him, right? I was shocked. I was like, what happened?
The
He's
sweet.
like, this is you guys noticed the switch, right?
Yeah.
And all through filming, I was just very, I don't know, I was just wary of him just because of how good. And this is coming
Absolutely.
from an actor who has
Yes.
27 years in Nollywood, though. So for me to say
Yes.
that, that man, no, he did, he was very brilliant. Sister Barbara was brilliant.
Yeah.
Everybody all were amazing, you know,
Yeah.
brought the characters to life. Onyi, I mean, you were the headliner and you did a
Incredible.
fantastic job. You know, you
Thank you,
were
Maggie.
leading the film, the entire thing, you know, Maggie, you were amazing, Jenny. Well done, girls. Well
Thank you,
done to
Auntie.
everyone
Thank
who's not part of this live right now.
Yeah.
Baby Farm is still showing on Netflix for those in Africa. And for our friends in the diaspora who've been complaining and asking me questions and sending questions that Rita will want to watch it, don't worry. The producers, Moa Budu, Ebony Live Productions, they're working very hard to get it out to you people. Okay, so very soon you'll be watching Baby Farm, and hopefully we'll do another live, you know, to get your takes or your what you think about Baby Farm. Thank you, my beautiful, talented girls, Genoveva, Onyi, Maggie, for coming on this live and talking everything Baby Farm. Is there anything you guys want to say? You want to add anything? I mean, I'm still enjoying having this conversation with you people.
Mm. I just wanted to say your dreams are valid, everybody. You know, whatever it is that you desire to do, please, um, you know, do it beyond adversity. It's you know, it's never going to be easy. Nothing about chasing your dreams and living your dreams is easy.
At all.
But wake up and you choose, and you know, by God's grace, you achieve everything you desire by God's
Yeah.
grace.
Yeah.
what Genoveva said, everything she said, yeah.
Okay. Maggie?
Maggie's
Coming on.
off. Maggie's off on holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah. That internet.
Yeah.
They're going to hear from
Yeah.
her.
Yeah. So you guys have the ladies, you know, don't be afraid of chasing your dreams. You know, the thing about life, right? There'll always be people, there'll be naysayers, but don't listen to the naysayers, right? Eyes on the prize.
Mhm.
You know, just block out the noise because there'll
Yes,
always be
Auntie
noise.
Ree, I want to ask you a question because you've been
Oh,
in film for
oh yeah,
27
ask me.
years.
Yes, so
What, you know, give us advice as young actors who are, you know, just
Yes,
starting our
please.
careers. Like, you know, I grew up watching you, admire you so much. And how do you stay confident? How do you show up, you know, consistently? How do you do it?
so
You know?
you know something. It's not. You have to understand that working on yourself doesn't stop, regardless of how old you are or how many years you spent in the industry. You don't rest on
Absolutely.
your laurels and say, oh, because I've done it, I'm this person, I'm just going to stop working on myself. No, you need to see when I get a script, when I start preparing to go on set, I prepare even more than I prepared my early years in Nollywood because
Mm.
I'm constantly looking for ways to bring something new to each role that I've played, or
Okay.
to each role that I play. You know, so just basically,
The
I
work
think you girls
doesn't
are.
stop.
I think it doesn't stop, and I think you girls are already on the right path. To be honest with you, and I think that's why people are really talking about you. You know what you did with your characters or other films you've done. Your names are out there. That means it shows that you're doing something right. Do you understand? You have your head screwed on right. You know it's about the work, and that's basically my advice. Just don't rest on your laurels. Continue working on yourself. You know, work doesn't stop, basically. You are
Thank you
right. Work
so
doesn't
very
stop.
much.
Thank you so
Auntie,
much.
before we go, I want us to do a selfie. Everybody smile.
Oh, how do you do that? I know how to do it.
I know
I'm
my
gonna take
legs.
a
Okay, just capture the
screenshot.
screen. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm in a car and it's all dark, but I hope you can see me.
I see you, babes. I see you.
Okay.
You look good.
Okay.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Hey, got it. Thank you.
Okay.
So, guys, what are you guys doing this evening? Is a weekend? Are you going somewhere,
Oh,
or
I'm
what's the
going
plan? What are your
it's the
plans?
weekend.
outside,
I
Auntie.
have
I'm
no
going
idea,
outside.
Rita. Then I'm
Maggie, you had
hosting.
no idea.
I'm honestly speaking, like
Seriously? Wow.
Me,
For
honestly
those of you
I'm
who
going
don't
home.
know, Maggie walked with me in the last Miss Nigeria. She was just a breath of fresh air. She was
Phenomenal,
just
yeah.
amazing. Yes,
Maggie's the
yes.
Oh,
sweetest.
hey.
Yes, yes. She was just an amazing girl.
thank you
All right,
so
my
much.
darlings.
I was yeah grateful for the
See you on the ground.
opportunity.
All
Yeah. See
right.
you, Auntie. Take care.
Proud of
God
you
bless you. Bye,
all. Well
babes.
done. Mwah. And guys, thanks for joining our live. And then see you all next time. Okay.
See you. Bye. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.